so tall in Toy Town. I take my car and I drive afar in Toy Town. There's Mr. Plod and a dog called Bumpy. Hello, Mr. Plod. Get down, Bumpy. I pass the Ark, the Noahs live there, and so does the elephant, and so does the bear. Noddy say it's market day in Toy Town. If you have the fare, I'll take you there through Toy Town. There's Biggs who lives by the old oak tree, and we have adventures, Biggs and me. Why don't you come and join in the fun? Just follow me, 'cause it's only begun. I'm Noddy. I'm Noddy.
Big Ears, the brownie, was looking forward to his day in Toy Town. I'll go to the market, and I'll have an ice cream, and I'll... Why don't you look where you're going? Big Ears asked crossly. I'm terribly sorry. Big Ears looked a bit closer. You're an odd-looking person, he said rudely. Who are you? I don't know. Don't know? No, said the odd-looking person, nodding his head vigorously. When you say no, do you mean yes? No. And he nodded his head harder than ever. If you can't say what you mean, don't say anything at all. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I want to know who you are. Why the secrecy? I ran away from my toy maker. Why? He made a lion. I don't like lions. They frighten me. So where are you going now? I don't know. I'd like to find some food. I'm rather hungry and thirsty. In that case, Big Ears said, you'd better climb on my bicycle. I'm going to Toy Town. We can get you plenty of food and drink there. By the way, what's your name? I haven't got one. You'll have to shout. I can't hear. I haven't got one. I'll give you a name, Big Ears said. I'll call you Noddy, because you will keep nodding your head. Whatever's that? Noddy was again so frightened he nearly fell over. That's a train, of course. Have you never seen a train before? No. My goodness, you are ignorant. All aboard for Toy Town. All aboard for Toy Town. Come on, Big Ears said, and pushed Noddy into a carriage. Noddy catapulted in, followed by Big Ears and his bicycle. You can't bring that in here, said a snooty voice. It was a pink toy cat. There isn't time to put it in the guard's van. It's not allowed, a toy soldier added. What a peculiar person. The pink cat was examining Noddy closely. Who is he? He's called Noddy. Where do you come from? The pink cat asked rudely. Ouch! It was one of the dolls. Mind that bicycle. You've got it on my foot. Oh, I'm sorry, Big Ears said. The whistle blew again. Noddy nearly fell off his seat in surprise and started nodding even more. What's he keep nodding for? We can't help it. Oi, 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 what's going on here then? No bicycles allowed in carriages. You know that, Big Ears. Well, I'm sorry, Big Ears said, but I didn't have time to put it in the guard's van. You've got time now. Take it out of here. So Big Ears took the bicycle out of the carriage, and Noddy was left alone with the pink toy cat and the doll and the soldier. I'm going to be late, the toy cat said snootily. I don't know why we should put up with these delays. Neither do I, sniffed the doll. Toy Town train isn't what it used to be. All kinds of undesirable persons one has to travel with. Fortunately, Big Ears came back at that moment. We're off, said Noddy in delight. But I can't see the view from here. Could I change? I always sit in the corner seat, the pink toy cat said. So you'll have to sit where you are, unless the toy soldier moves. You'd better come here. Help! Help! What's all this, then? Oh, it's you lot again. You toys. Nothing but trouble. Opening doors while the train's in motion. You know it's not allowed. I didn't open the door, the toy soldier said furiously. It flew open. Then it wasn't shut properly. Who was last in? He looked pointedly at Big Ears. I'm sorry. It was all my fault. Noddy spoke up bravely. The toy soldier moved to give me the corner seat. I wanted to see outside because I've never been in a train before. Never been in a train before? The guard looked incredulous. Hurry up. What's going on?
We're late. This train was supposed to leave 2 minutes ago.
Either we go or I'll have my money back. That's enough of that, the guard shouted back. The train will go when I say it goes, and if you don't like it, you can walk. And he turned to Noddy. Have a good journey, he said kindly. And I hope you like Toy Town. And he blew his whistle. Noddy had never seen anywhere so beautiful. What a lovely place. What's the matter, Noddy? It's that I'm so hungry. We'll soon deal with that. Come on, there's a cafe over there. Big Ears bought Noddy a steak pie and potatoes and peas and a glass of orangeade. This is the best meal I've ever had. Noddy had never felt so happy, but not for long. A big toy policeman came up to him. Hello, 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 and who may you be? I'm Noddy. I didn't ask you your name, I asked who you were. You're very rude, Big Ear said. You might at least tell him who you are. He's never seen a policeman before. PC Plod of Toytown Constabulary at your service. Noddy couldn't help giggling. Mr. Plod looked so funny. It's no laughing matter. Mr. Plod took out his pencil and notebook. I want to know if you're a toy. Only toys are allowed in Toytown. I think I'm a toy, Noddy said. At least, I hope I am. Well, this is a matter for Toytown Court. Kindly appear at the court at 6 p.m. tonight. He's not going to send me away, is he? I hope not. Big Ears didn't know what to do to keep Noddy in Toytown, but he showed him round. He showed him the station, and the market, and the fair. He took him to Monsieur Polly's garage to look at all the new cars. And he took him to the Ark. What a funny place, Noddy said. Whatever is it? You are ignorant. It's where all the animals live with Mr. and Mrs. Noah. Elephants and giraffes and kangaroos? Of course. But Big Ears forgot to tell Noddy about the lions. Do you think I could stay here to see them? I love animals. Good idea, Big Ears said. Go and introduce yourself to Mr. and Mrs. Noah. I'll be back soon. And Big Ears walked away. There was no reply from the Ark, but Noddy could hear noises, so he knew there must be someone inside. Is, anyone at home? There certainly was. Hundreds of animals, and they all came pouring out of the Ark. Mr. and Mrs. Noah were on their way home. My goodness, Noah, I'm so glad... Mrs. Noah stopped in surprise. Go back in. Go back in at once, she cried. To Noddy's amazement, all the animals put their tails between their legs and crept shamefacedly back into the Ark. At least, almost all the animals. Noddy didn't see the one that hid behind the bush. I'd better go and find Big Ears, he thought. I seem to have caused a lot of trouble here. Then he heard a growl, and then a scream. He didn't remember that he was frightened of lions. He rushed at it, waving his arms about. The lion scampered back into the Ark. Thank you, the little doll threw her arms round Noddy. You've saved my life. At that moment, Big Ears appeared. Time to come to Toytown Court. Noddy didn't even have time to tell him about the lion. Silence, the judge shouted. Are you the accused? Yes. Who are you? I'm Noddy. Ah, yes, I believe you want to take up a residence in Toytown. Yes, Your Honour. Are you a toy? Yes, said Noddy. No, said Mr. Plod. Silence, said the judge. If you are a toy, are you a good toy? Yes, said Noddy. No, said Mr. Plod. Silence, said the judge. Have you done anything wrong since you came to Toytown? I'm afraid I let the animals out of the ark. 6 soldiers forward. You are to leave Toytown immediately. This toy is to be escorted out of the town. The court is now adjourned. No, no, stop. It was the little doll. Don't send him away. He saved my life. And she told them about Noddy and the lion. Oh, that puts an entirely different light on the matter, the judge said. Noddy, I order you to stay in Toytown. All the toys cheered. Silence! Mr. and Mrs. Noah, why did you leave the ark doors unlocked? I'm afraid we forgot, Your Honour. Forgetfulness is no excuse. I shall make you pay a fine. You are to help this nodding man find a house. No need, no need. It was Mr. Tubby Bear. There is a residence empty next to us. Perhaps he could have that. P.C. Plod, kindly investigate. And with that, the judge adjourned the court. There it is. There it is. And there in front of Noddy was the most beautiful house he had ever seen. All that? For me? He couldn't believe it was true. Yes, yes, the toys all cried. It's a bit bare. Mrs. Noah was looking anxiously at the little room. You'll have to have some furniture. There's no bed or anything. Well, we'll go to the market and buy him some. After all, it was our fault that he was nearly sent away. Carelessness, sheer carelessness, Mr. Plod muttered to himself. I'd better note down these proceedings. And he took out his notebook and pencil. But no one was going to wait for Mr. Plod to write it all down. The toys led Noddy out of the house and towards the market square. Oh, wait for me. I've no money at all, Noddy said. Well, make a collection, Big Ear said. And before P.C. Plod knew what was happening, his helmet was whipped off his head and put on the ground, and all the toys threw pennies into it until it was so full they could hardly lift it. Most irregular, most irregular. But he didn't mind too much. And then Big Ears rushed up to Noddy and put on his head a pointed blue hat with a bell at the end of it. Now, every time you nod your head, a little bell will ring. The toys cheered yet again. This is the happiest day of my life, Noddy said.
But I feel so tall in Toytown. I take my car and I drive afar in Toytown. There's Mr. Plod and a dog called Bumpy. Hello, Mr. Plod. Get down, Bumpy. I pass the ark, the Noahs live there, and so does the elephant, and so does the bear. Now that they say it's market day in Toytown. If you have the fare, I'll take you there through Toytown. There There's Biggies who lives by the old oak tree, and we have adventures, Biggies and me. Why don't you come and join in the fun? Just follow me, 'cause it's only begun. I'm Noddy. I'm Noddy.
Milk out, milk out, the milkman called. Goodness, Noddy said. Is it breakfast time already? We'll make an early start in Toyland. 1 pint or 2. Noddy nodded. Say which you want, said the milkman. Nod once for 1 bottle and twice for 2 bottles. Take no notice of my nodding. My head just nods. And if it nods too often, you leave me too much milk. I only want 1 pint, please. That'll be 1 penny. 1 penny? Noddy looked very sad. Perhaps I'd better not have any milk today. I haven't got any money. That's all right, Noddy. Pay me later. And whistling cheerfully, the milkman went next door. I'd better get a job so I can pay you back, Noddy said. Why don't you try Angela Dole at 4 Chimneys House? There's spring cleaning this week. What a good idea, Noddy thought. He knocked on the door. It was answered by a doll in a big white apron. What do you want? She said. Are you the chimney sweep, or are you the laundryman? I'm Noddy, Noddy said. I heard you were spring cleaning, and I wondered if I could help. I'll be very good at spring cleaning. I've plenty of spring in me. It's nothing to do with it, silly. We're spring cleaning the house because it's springtime. Perhaps the mistress will let you help. We're always glad of an extra pair of hands. You can come in. The mistress was a beautiful doll with shining hair and big blue eyes. Noddy was so impressed, he bowed. The sweep hasn't come, she said. I suppose you don't know how to sweep chimneys? I'm sure I could sweep your chimneys, he said. I'd like to try. Noddy picked up a long black brush. He poked it up the chimney and waited for the soot to come down. I wonder if I'm through to the top, he thought. No soot. I'd better do it again. The little doll ran outside. Isn't this fun? She said. I wonder where Noddy's brush is. Oh, it's coming through a chimney. It's gone. Oh, there it is. In another chimney. Noddy is doing well. Oh, it's gone again. No, there it is. He's cleaning chimney number 3 now. Only 1 more to do. Oh, he's gone back to number 1 again. What is he doing? He should be doing number 4. There it is. He's cleaned it. Well done, Noddy. But Noddy was covered in soot from top to toe. You'd better have a wash, the mistress said. Then you can scrub the kitchen floor. Noddy set to. He scrubbed and scrubbed. Won't the beautiful doll be pleased, he thought. Perhaps she'll give me another job. Then I can pay the milkman and buy enough food to stock my larder. He turned to pick up the bucket. Oh, that's funny, he said. It was here a minute ago. Someone was laughing. Do you want your bucket back? Look out, he shouted, but it was too late. The little doll had spilt the bucket of dirty water all over Noddy's shoes. What's going on here? A stern voice said. It was the mistress doll. What do you think you're doing? The little doll girl looked at Noddy. It was an accident, but don't worry, I'll clean it up. It won't take very long, he said. That's a very good job you've done, said the mistress doll, and she paid him handsomely. Oh, thank you, said Noddy. If you want more work, try Monsieur Pulley at the garage. Now, if there was one thing Noddy loved, it was cars. Excuse me, Noddy said shyly, do you by any chance have a job for me? Monsieur Polly looked him up and down. Well, my man, he is away. You can have his duties until he returns. I love cars, Noddy thought as he looked round. If only I could have one of my own. A yellow one, just like that. He set to work happily. He washed all the cars and polished them until he could see his own reflection in them. Monsieur Polly was very pleased, and at the end of the day gave him 2 pennies. I feel quite rich, Noddy thought, but not rich enough to buy my own car. I do wish I could buy this one. Noddy worked at the garage for a whole week. On his last day, he worked extra hard. Oh, I do feel hot, he said. He sadly packed up his duster and polish. This is the last time, he sighed. Hi! Oh, I'm sorry. I'd completely forgotten you, Noddy. I will now give you your last 2 pence. I must lock up now. Goodbye. Bonne nuit. Never mind, Noddy thought. I'll soon get another job, and who knows, one day I might save enough to buy a car of my own. And he fell asleep. Noddy woke up with a start. Oh dear, he said. I haven't had my supper. Who's that? It's me, without my hat. I must go and look for it. Noddy wasn't feeling very brave. It was dark and lonely. Ooh, he shivered. I don't like being alone in the dark. But he wasn't alone. A shaft of light came from the open garage door, and Noddy could hear noises coming from inside. Oh, Monsieur Polly must be working late. I do hope it's not my fault. Suddenly, a car shot out into the road. It was driven by a goblin, and another, and another. Why don't you look where you're going, jaywalker? Noddy ran to the back of the garage. There, in an old shed, was a rickety red car. He jumped in, pulled the starter, and roared out after the departing goblins. All through Toytown they went, and out into the open country. Faster and faster they drove, up and down the country lanes. Noddy felt as though he were flying. Noddy landed by a tree, clutching his steering wheel. A solitary tire rolled past. Before Noddy had time to recover, he heard a stern but familiar voice. What on earth do you think you're doing? It was Big Ears. I'm chasing, Noddy said, and told him all about it. Are you hurt? Big Ears asked anxiously. I don't think so, Noddy said, but I'm not sure. Come into my toadstool house. You can stay with me for the night. I do hope Monsieur Polly won't be cross about his little red car, Noddy said. It's quite smashed up. I should think he'd be very grateful to you. Look, Noddy, he added, you go to sleep, and I'll see if I can find the cars. So Noddy snuggled down on Big Ear's settee, and Big Ears went, all alone, to Goblin Village. The inhabitants of Toytown were in a rage that morning, and as for poor Monsieur Polly, he was crying. All his cars had gone, even the little red one. But Mr. Plod was in charge of the situation.
We will have to examine the place of the crime,
He announced.
Aha,
He called.
aha.
He held up Noddy's blue hat.
A vital piece of evidence.
It was at that moment that Noddy and Big Ears arrived at the garage.
Does this piece of incriminating evidence belong to you?
Oh, I don't know about incriminate, but it's my hat. It was Noddy, the little nodding man, the toy shouted. He did it. He stole the cars. You just listen to me, Mr. Plod, Big Ears said furiously. You just listen to me.
And you show respect to an officer of the law.
It wasn't Noddy who stole the cars. It was the goblins. Noddy went to the garage to fetch his hat, and he tried to stop them.
Do you wish to make a written statement? We need a written statement, you know.
Look here, Plod. I want Noddy set free. In fact, if you don't set him free this minute, I shan't tell you where the cars are. Perhaps we have been a little hasty, Monsieur Polly whispered to Mr. Plod. He wanted his cars back.
This, Brownie, says you chased the car thieves last night.
Noddy was too frightened to speak. That's correct, Big Ear said. What's more, if we don't hurry to Goblin Village, you may never see the cars again. It was a strange procession that arrived in Goblin Village. I'll deal with this, Big Ear said.
It's my beat,
Mr. Plod protested. It's my village. Big Ears strode forward.
Come out here, Gobbo,
he ordered.
I have a visitor for you. You again? I might have known. I'll have those cars back fast.
Gobbo pointed to the old oak tree.
Better get 'em, I suppose,
he grumbled. Quelle joie, Monsieur Polly murmured as the first car drove out. There were goblins everywhere.
I shall fine every single goblin in this village,
Mr. Plod announced.
Every goblin is to pay 1 penny. I shall expect you to deliver the money this afternoon. And if you don't, you'll find yourselves in clink.
Everyone got into their stolen cars and drove back to Toytown. Monsieur Polly took Noddy to the garage. You had better keep your eyes shut, he said sternly. Why? Noddy asked, trying not to peep. We have a little surprise for you, and he led him into the market square. Can I open them now? Noddy asked. A little, Monsieur Polly said. Oh! Noddy's eyes nearly fell out of his head. A car for you. Hurrah for Noddy! All Toytown was assembled in the square. For me? Really? For me? It was too good to be true. It was the most beautiful car Noddy had ever seen.
I may be small, but I feel so tall in Toytown. I take my car and I drive afar in Toytown. There's Mr. Plod and a dog called Bumpy. Hello, Mr. Plod. Get down, Bumpy. I pass the ark, the Noahs live there, and so does the elephant, and so does the bear. Now that they say it's market day in Toytown. If you have the fare, I'll take you there from Toytown. There's Biggers who lives by the old oak tree, and we have adventures, Biggers and me. Why don't you come and join in the fun? Just follow me, 'cause it's only begun. I'm Noddy. I'm Noddy.
Noddy felt tremendously happy. He helped himself to an extra special breakfast. Toast and egg and cornflakes and milk. There wasn't any. Luckily, at that moment, The milkman came to the door. 1 pint or 2? He asked. I'd rather have 2, Noddy said. I'm going to eat an enormous breakfast. Oh, he added, and his face fell. What's wrong, Noddy? I can't have 2. In fact, I can't have any. I've run out of money. Not to worry. I can wait, Mr. Milkman said, and set off in the direction of Mr. and Mrs. Bear. I know how I can earn some money, Noddy thought as he cleaned and polished his car. I could take people to and from the station, and I could charge them, just like a taxi driver. Yeah, that's what I'll be. I'll be Toytown's taxi driver. The pink toy cat was waiting in the road. Are you a taxi driver? Yes, that is almost, Noddy said in a rush. I've just become one. I want to go to Toytown Station, please. How much do you charge? 5 pence all the way there and back, Noddy said excitedly. I only want to go there. I don't want to come back. How much is it to go there and not back? Oh, I don't know. Noddy didn't know what to charge. You don't know? No, Noddy said miserably, nodding his head. I wish you wouldn't say no and nod your head. It's very muddling. Mr. Tubby Bear looked out of his house. Mr. Tubby Bear, the toy cat said, can you tell Noddy how much to charge if he takes me to the station and not back? Well, exactly the same as if you go back and not to the station, Mr. Tubby Bear said. Well, how can I go back if I haven't been there? Noddy felt more muddled than ever. Come on, I'm going to miss my train. The pink toy cat climbed into the car with some difficulty. She was large and the car was small. And then she left her tail hanging out over the side. Put your tail inside, toy cat. Noddy was so startled, he slammed his foot on the brake. The car stopped with a jerk, and the pink toy cat flew through the air and landed in the road. Oh, is that how you drive a car? She asked angrily. I'm sorry. Being a taxi driver wasn't going to be easy, after all. Hey, toy cat, Mr. Bear shouted again. Put your tail inside. I do wish people would mind their own business, the toy cat said snootily. It's my tail, and I can do what I like with it. Sally Sly waved them past. Ooh, she said. Mind how you go. The train was just coming in as they arrived. Oh, the toy cat wailed. My tail's gone. Noddy stared at her in horror. The train driver blew his whistle. Quick, you'll miss it. He pushed her into the nearest carriage. I'll look for your tail, but please, will you pay me before you go? Certainly not, said the pink toy cat. You can pay me 5 pence for a new tail. 5 pence, that's what you owe me. 5 pence. What a rude cat. A deep voice boomed. Will you drive me to Mr. Tubby's? I'm his brother. Mr. Bear was even bigger than the pink toy cat. He had great difficulty getting into the car. You need a lorry, Noddy muttered. Hey, my hat's blown off. Stop, stop. You'll have to go and find it, said Mr. Tubby Bear's brother. I'm stuck. The hat was nowhere to be seen. Nowhere at all. Oh, I'm in trouble again, Noddy thought. The bear was very cross. Why you have such a silly small car? He growled at Noddy. Noddy was furious. My car is not silly and it's not small. It's you who's too fat. Please, sir, will you pay my fare? He asked. Pay a fare? Pay a fare when you've lost my brand new hat? Certainly not. You can pay me what it cost. 5 new pence. And Mr. Bear stalked off into Mr. and Mrs. Tubby Bear's house. Noddy was utterly downcast. His career as a taxi driver was distinctly unsuccessful. I'll have one more go, he thought. If I can get a rich client, I can earn enough for a new tail, a new hat, and a bit over for myself. His luck had turned, for there, by the bus stop, was Angela Goldenhair from Four Chimneys House. Noddy nodded at her happily and politely opened the door. Where do you want to go, ma'am? To the station. Hurry up, please, Noddy. I'm late. Where can I put my bag? Oh, I'll soon sort that out for you. But the bag was too large to fit in the front, so he balanced it carefully on the back. It'll be quite safe there. Better than in a luggage rack. Hurry up now, the doll said. I don't want to miss my train. So Noddy hurried up. He drove as fast as the car would go. There we are, madam. I'll just get you your case, and Oh, the case had gone. How careless of you, the doll said crossly. You'll have to go back and find it and put it on the next train. And I'm not paying you your fare. That'll teach you to be so careless. And she marched off. Noddy tried to cheer himself up as he drove to Big Ear's house. But there really wasn't very much to be cheerful about. Instead of earning money, he owed it. I'll tell you what we'll do, Big Ear said. We'll drive back to Toy Town. Someone must have found the pink toy cat's tail and Mr. Bear's hat and even Angela Goldenhair's case. So that's what they did. They drove into Toy Town, into the market square, and right into the middle of Toy Town Fair. Goodness, Noddy said. Oh, I forgot about the fair. Now we won't find anything. Yes, that might be a bit of a problem, Big Ear said. The fair was in full swing. First they went to the hoopla stall. Noddy looked at the prizes. 2 china cats, teapots, rag dolls, and a beautiful yellow sponge for cleaning the car. I wish I could have a go, he said sadly. I would so love that big yellow sponge for cleaning my car. There was a big notice up. 1 penny for 3 hoops. Come along, ladies and gentlemen, come along, come along. 1 penny for 3 hoops. Try your luck, try your luck. Here, so have a go. Go on, have a go, so have a go. Never know your luck. Might win that sponge you want. The skittle, who was running the stall, held 3 hoops out to Noddy. Noddy nodded miserably. I'm afraid I can't. Then why do you nod your head? You toys are all the same, wasting my time. I have to make a living, you know, I have to make a living. So do I, Noddy said miserably to himself. Only I don't seem to be very good at it. Come on. Big Ears took him by the arm, and they walked on. I've got 1 penny. Let's have a go on the roundabout. That'll cheer us up. Useless, these toys, the skittle said. And cheer them up, it did. Noddy jumped on the back of a white horse, and Big Ears clambered onto a grey elephant. The ride begins. Monsieur Polly was having a go. So was Tessie. Isn't this fun? She cried. The merry-go-round went round and round, round and round. Oh, I'm in a steeplechase, Noddy shouted. Come on, come on, come on! And he kicked the horse to go faster, just as though it was a real one. Slowly, very slowly, the roundabout stopped. And Big Ears and Noddy climbed down. They were so dizzy that the market square and all the toys in it were going round and round. Suddenly, Noddy clutched Big Ear's arm. Look, he shouted. He had seen Gobbo emerging from the back of the hoopla stall, clutching a teapot, a box of chocolates, and the big yellow sponge. Stop! Oh, no, you don't, Noddy shouted, and before the goblin realized what was happening, he'd been pinned down by Big Ears and Noddy. Has there been a disturbance of the peace? Mr. Plod was on the spot, notebook in hand. There has, the goblin screamed. I've just caught that nodding man and his friend stealing the hoopla prizes. Just stopping them I was. You're lying. Noddy was beside himself. He's the thief. We caught him, Big Ears and I. It was them, the goblin screamed. How dare you, Big Ears said. Be quiet, Mr. Plod said.
What are my prizes doing here?
No one had noticed the arrival of the skittle.
Oh, it's you, is it?
He said, looking at Noddy.
Thought you'd be up to no good, wanting my sponge when you hadn't even got the money enough to have a go with the hoops. I know your sort. Told you, didn't I?
Said the goblin smugly to Mr. Plod. Well, I don't know, Mr. Plod said.
Well, I do.
It was Noddy's friend, the milkman.
How dare you accuse Noddy of stealing? That goblin is a liar. I saw the whole thing. It's the goblin who's the thief. Oh, I'm scarpering.
After him, after him, after him, Mr. Plod shouted, puffing and panting as he tried to chase the thieving goblin. The skittle was very apologetic and gave Big Ears and Noddy a free turn. Big Ears won a box of chocolates. And Noddy won the big yellow sponge. Noddy and Big Ears wandered round the fair. I wish we had some money. Look at those ice creams. And look at that sailor doll. He's not wearing a sailor hat. He's wearing Mr. Bear's topper. Before the sailor doll knew what had happened, Big Ears had whipped it off him. Stick to your own hats in future, he growled at the sailor doll, who was so frightened, he ran away.
Hey, where did you get that bag?
Noddy ran up to a white clockwork mouse.
It's Angela Goldenhair's.
The clockwork mouse fled as fast as his machinery would let it. Things were looking up. They walked on further to a stall where Sally Sly was buying oranges. Round her neck, she had a bushy, pink fur.
That,
said Noddy,
is the toy cat's pink tail.
Leave this to me, Big Ear said. Next time you find something that doesn't belong to you, kindly take it to the Lost Property Office. Sally Sly went very red in the face and walked away with as much dignity as she could muster. That's that, then, said Big Ears. One hat, one tail, and one bag. We've got your tail, they shouted to the pink toy cat. Well, that's a relief. I felt most peculiar without it. The cat paid Noddy his fare. Then they returned Mr. Bear's hat. It wasn't Noddy's fault, Big Ear said. Shouldn't have driven so fast, but I'll pay up this time. Then they returned Angela's red bag. Noddy felt very happy and very rich. Let's go out to supper, Big Ears, as a special treat. I've never been out to supper before. Yes, let's. And that's what they did. They sat down in the market square and ate a huge supper. Everything's going to be all right now, Noddy said.
I may be small, but I feel so tall in Toy Town. I take my car and I drive afar in Toy Town. There's Mr. Plod and a dog called Bumpy. Hello, Mr. Plod. Get down, Bumpy. I pass the ark, the Noahs live there, and so does the elephant, and so does the bear. Nowadays say it's market day in Toy Town. If you have the fare, I'll take you there from Toy Town. There's Biggs who lives by the old oak tree, and we have adventures, Biggs and me. Why don't you come and join in the fun? Just follow me, 'cause it's only begun. I'm Noddy. I'm Noddy.
Morning, Noddy, the milkman said. How many pints? One, please. The postman was coming up the path. Is that a letter for me? Noddy didn't often get letters. Yes, the postman said sadly. A letter for you. He paused. But there wasn't a letter for me. No one ever writes to me. Well, perhaps Noddy will write to you, the milkman said sympathetically. I'd love to write to you, Noddy said. But I can't write. Nor read, the postman asked hopefully. No. Then you can't read a letter. Can I open it? You already have. I don't often get the chance to read letters. I only deliver them. Day in, day out, I deliver them, but I never get the chance to read one. Well, get on with it then, the milkman said. I've got work to do. But the postman wasn't going to be hurried. Oh, what a treat, what a treat, he kept muttering. At last he was ready. Dear Noddy, he read out. Please, he paused. Please, I can't make this out. Here, give it to me. No. And please, he continued, come at 9:30 this morning. 9:30? He looked at his watch. You better hurry up, Noddy. Couldn't you finish the letter? Noddy asked politely. I want to correct... That isn't correct, the milkman said. It's collect. Some parcels. You've got to collect some parcels, Noddy, in your car. Who from? Noddy asked. Signed, Mrs. Noah, the Ark, Toy Town. Is that all? The milkman said. Wasn't worth waiting for. He picked up his pints of milk. Noddy, he said, you better learn to read and write. You'd better go to school. Go to school? Oh, dear, I'd better go to Mrs. Noah first. Noddy drove slowly through Toytown, through the market square. Mr. Plod was busy directing the traffic. Oh, dear, what does he mean? Now, does he mean left or right? Noddy thought that Mr. Plod had signalled him to the right. Mr. Plod had signalled him to the left.
You can't go that way, he roared. If you can't tell left from right, you'd better go to school.
That's the second time today I've been told to go to school, Noddy thought. Noddy's car was so full of parcels, he hardly had room to drive. Red for the toy shop, green for the station, yellow for the market. Mrs. Noah had marked the parcels very carefully.
Noddy, Noddy,
said a voice. Big Ears, how nice to see you. I'm sorry I can't give you a lift. I haven't got any room.
Never mind about the room. Mr. Plod is after you. Where are you going with those parcels?
Red for the station, green for the post office. Oh, no, dear Big Ears, I've got all mixed up again.
Well, can't you read what Mrs. Noah has written on the parcels?
No, Noddy said.
In that case, said Big Ears, there's only one place for you, and that's school. I'll help you this once, but you'll have to read and write and learn to tell right from left and add up. I'll help you, Big Ears said. Follow me.
So that's what Noddy did. First they went to the toy shop and delivered the parcel marked red, and they drove to the market and delivered the parcel marked yellow. P.C. Plod was still in the market square, directing Toytown traffic.
I've been looking for you, he roared at Noddy. You committed a traffic offence. Well, it wasn't his fault, Big Ears pleaded. He can't tell left from right. Then he better go to school, Mr. Plod said sternly. That's just what he's going to do. Well, I'll let you off this once, but mind you learn properly, he roared.
I'm rather frightened, Noddy said as they drove along.
No need for that. Stop! Oh, stop! Please stop!
It was Mr. Wobbly Man.
Noddy, Noddy, can you help? The clockwork clown has broken his clockwork.
I'm going to school, Noddy said.
There he is.
Mr. Wobbly Man pointed down the street. The clockwork clown was walking towards them, upside down,
Noddy, please take me to the doctor, he said. I can't stand the right way up. In you get, then, Noddy said. And the clown tried to climb in. But it was difficult, upside down. You'll have to go slowly, he said. My clockwork won't stand speed at the moment. Take care. Mr. Wobbly Man waved farewell. Get better soon. The clown was most grateful to Big Ears and Noddy. How much is that? He asked. 5 pence, please. If I give you 10 pence, you can give me 5 pence change? I don't know, Noddy said. I can't count. You can't count? The clockwork clown asked in amazement. Then you better go to school. That's where I was going, Noddy sighed. Here, Big Ear said. I'll count the pennies out for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you, Noddy said, and stretched out his hand to take 10 pence from the clockwork clown. Whoop! Now you haven't got any pence in your hands, Big Ears grumbled. We have, we have. Oh, you would. It was the Skittle children. They were running all over the road, looking for the clockwork clown's 5 pence. And the clockwork clown was running as fast as his hands would let him. So was Big Ears, and so was Noddy. The right way up, of course. Ha, 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 hey, 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 I've got a penny for my tea. No, you haven't. The clockwork clown made a grab at one of the Skittles. And then to Noddy's and Big Ears' amazement, he rolled over and stood on his feet. Let's put my clockwork back in place. Thank you, Noddy. Thank you, Big Ears. And as for you, Skittle children, you might as well keep my 5 pence. And the clockwork clown somersaulted away. The schoolmistress was a plump little doll with a bonnet and shawl, and she wore big glasses on her nose. Noddy felt rather scared of her, but he wasn't going to show it, not for anything. Ah, Noddy, isn't it? She said. I'm Miss Hap. Oh. A pile of books came tumbling off her desk. Dear, dear, she said. All these little accidents, I keep having them all the time. Is that why you're called Miss Hap? Noddy asked. Miss Hap? Miss Hap? Dear, dear, I hadn't thought of that. Are you sure you need to come to school? I can't read or write or count, Noddy said. We'll soon put that right. Now then, Noddy, do you know the twice times tables? No, Noddy said. Do you know any table? Only the one at home, Noddy said. I eat my breakfast off it. Everyone laughed, but Noddy didn't. Noddy didn't know what there was to laugh at. Be quiet, Miss Hap shouted. I won't tolerate disorder in my class. You're to behave yourselves, all of you. Noddy, the twice times table is 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times... Miss Hap, another Miss Hap, the children shouted. A beautiful vase with flowers was lying broken at Miss Hap's feet. Is school always like this? Noddy asked. We'll sing a song now, Miss Hap said. We'll sing Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill. I don't know a song about Jack and Jill, but I can sing a song myself, Noddy said. Bet you can't even write the letter N, one of the monkeys shouted. Bet I can, Noddy shouted back.
though he knew he couldn't. In that case, Miss Happ ordered, you'd better come up here and prove it. So Noddy walked up to the blackboard, and Miss Happ wrote out for him the letter N. And Noddy copied it. But it didn't look quite right. Hey, it's mirror writing, Miss Happ said.
It's inside out.
The monkey shouted.
That's not what an N looks like. Do it again.
And Noddy did. And this time, it looked just like Miss Happ's.
Well done, Noddy. Very good. You see, I can do it.
It was the end of term. Lots of toys were at the school. Even Big Ears had come to see how Noddy was getting on. Miss Happ sat behind a pile of books. She picked one up. The Clockwork Mouse, she called out. A prize for being a fast runner. Everyone clapped. Tubby Bear, for learning his alphabet. Again, everyone clapped. Noddy hardest of all. He liked Tubby Bear. I'm afraid I'm not going to get a prize, he thought. Then he saw Miss Happ looking at him. Noddy, she said, don't you want your prize? I've been calling your name. Oh, Noddy said. It seemed a long way to her desk.
That's for learning to read and write and add up,
she said, and gave him his book. All the toys cheered. Noddy had never been so proud. And Big Ears flung his arms round Noddy. You are clever, he said.
It's been a lovely day, now we have to go away. But we'll see you very soon in Toy Town. We'll be back another day, come and join us so we may see you very soon again in Toy Town. It's been a lovely day, now we have to go away. But we'll see you